consider yourself normal, then this is not the show for you. Please go somewhere else. This is WYRD. If it's getting weird, it's got to be the Weird Mountain Gals show. You're listening to Byron and Alicia, the Weird Mountain Gals.
Mama, poker face, mama, poker face. Mama, poker face, mama, poker face.
What in the world? That is the last thing that the Appalachian goddess, Byron, would be expected to sing at the beginning of the podcast. So I guess that's why you're Byron, isn't it?
Well, what if we do a bluegrass version of it? And it's like, my, poker face, face. Lord have mercy.
We can if you want.
In the pre-show, I love to talk about like the pre-show is this big deal. In the pre-show, I was telling Miss Alicia that I went to the dentist today, and the dentist and the dentist helper, they were both out of the room, and that Lady Gaga song came on, and so I'm sitting in the dentist chair with my little serviette under my chin, and I'm waiting for them to come in, and I'm like jamming to my poker face, and I got my eyes closed, I'm jamming, because it's going to be a while before they come in. Then I open my eyes, and the whole thing, the big light fixture and the place over here where you spit, and the little tray with all the little scrapey instruments on it, it is all shaking like a damn tornado. and so I got real still, like a little mouse, real still. And by the time the dentist came in, I said, boy, you can't get away with anything in here. I was dancing, and then I realized this whole thing shakes. And he said, well, it ain't a dance floor.
Of course not.
I said, well, he said, well, it's the dentist chair. Nobody's supposed to be dancing in the dentist chair. Nobody's supposed to be happy at the dentist. What's wrong with you? He didn't say any of that. I made all of that up. He's not that kind of dentist. He's very sweet and calm and kind.
Well, he probably thought it, though. You just said the thinking part. So
I said the silent part out loud.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Have you ever, now, you might not have, but have you ever seen those videos on wherever on the internet? Yeah, I bet you have too. That have kids who have been to the dentist, and their dentist gave them some of that laughing gas. And
yes.
And they're always just and telling on themselves. Oh my God.
Well, one of my little neighbors today, one of my neighbor's little children today, who I guess is also my little neighbor, the road was blocked because one of our other neighbors was having some big-ass thing hauled in. So the whole road was blocked. So I came out, and you know how neighbors do. We just stand and watch them unload this truck, because what else are you going to do? It's a beautiful day. I'm going to watch you unload the truck. And the little child, he can't be more than about 2.5 years old. He's little. He was just standing there. He looked very serious. And then he looked up at all of the grown-ups like, I'm communicating to you telepathically my needs. And all of us were just going, well, it's a beautiful day. Look at those daffodils. Blah, blah, blah. And then he started patting the front of his pants.
Oh.
And his mama said, oh, honey, do you have to pee? Do you have to pee? And he whipped his pants down. And there were 3 big old rocks at the end of our driveway. And he was like trying to decide. I said, you just go ahead and pee on those rocks. That's okay. He couldn't decide which one was going to be the best rock to pee on. And at that point, I made my escape because, I've seen somebody pee before. I didn't need to watch that.
Well, no.
But as I came around up my steps, I glanced back, and he was just happily. He wasn't holding on to nothing. He just had his arms out like, this feels better than anything has ever felt. I picked the exact perfect rock, and I am peeing. Hooray.
And I'm free now. That's what it feels. I'm free.
I'm free.
It must. Well, we don't have to go there, but I knew this gal. See, we're going to go there. I knew this gal.
I knew we would.
Who was just the most feminine, beautiful, well made up. You never saw her unless she was fully made up, hair, fingernails, jewelry, gorgeous clothing. She always wears high heels. I think she even wears high heels at home when she's walking around her splendid place. And, she's a country girl. And I'll never, ever, ever forget walking down a road with her on her property. And we were talking about blunderbuss. Because, a blunderbuss is the country person's polite way of saying portable device that you do your business in.
Yes, ma'am.
So they've been around for a long time, and I don't know, maybe truck drivers use them. I honestly don't know, but they're called a blunderbuss. Anyway, we were talking about a blunderbuss, and she was wearing a skirt of some kind, and she just said, Alicia, I have never understood why women are so funny about the way they pee, and they just complain about it if they have to go outside, like there was something wrong with it. And she said, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's easy as it can be. And she just whipped her skirt up and dropped her panties down and squatted and peed right there in the road. And she was so proud of it afterwards. She was like, look there, see, it didn't even splatter on my shoes.
You can't see me shaking my head, but I am shaking my head because in my family, I know too much information here. This is a TMI moment, but as I explained earlier, I have been drinking Irish whiskey all day because tomorrow's my birthday. So I'm going to tell you that in my family, the women have seldom been known to wear drawers. We just don't. I have followed my mother in that she had one pair of good underwear, so that when she had to go to the doctor, she put underwear on. And that's the only time. My grandmother was the same. And apparently my great-grandmother was from that era when women wore long skirts. And they said that she would just be standing in the yard and this funny look would come over her face.
Yeah.
And then she would gently lift her skirts just a little bit and step to one side. And it's because she had been standing there just peeing. Yep. So that's back 4 generations. I better not mention my daughter. I imagine she wears some pretty fancy underwear.
Probably.
Because she's fancy. She's fancier than me.
And she may just be a rebel, too. You never know. So
she's going to rebel by wearing underwear when the rest of us don't. That's a hell of a rebellion, ain't
it? Well, to each their own, and to each family their own rebellion.
We all got to do it however we got to do it.
We do. I don't really have any stories about that on my family, except I do have the one, and it could just be a legend, okay? Ooh. But it might be real. But it was a story of my cousin and his wife, and they were camping, I guess, or they were out on their property, and it was a substantial property, and I guess for whatever reason, maybe it must have been, I don't know, but they came across a toilet in the woods, and she decided to sit down on it as a joke, and she told him to shoot me sitting down on this, and she was talking about with a camera, and of course,
that she was sitting in the woods, in the middle of the woods on a toilet,
right on a toilet, and for whatever reason, and I don't know, and I would hope that no alcohol was involved, but I honestly don't know. He decided to shoot the toilet out from under her.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if he actually did. I mean, I've heard, like I said, it could be a legend, but she was there the time that he was telling that story, and she smacked him pretty hard in front of me and said, you ought not to do that, and you ought not to tell her that. It's like they had to be very careful what they were saying to me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I really don't know. It could have been true. He was larger than life personality, that's for sure. And he would do things that you'd think that no way. And yes way, it happened. He did it. He's the one, I think I've told you this story. He's the one who he made friends. He saw some movie with Sally Fields and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
And he found out that Burt Reynolds at the time was hanging out in Atlanta, Georgia, and that he owned some steakhouse in Atlanta, Georgia. And he called that steakhouse. And he just told him, let me speak to that old son of a bitch, Burt. And don't you try to tell me he's not there, because I know he is, kind of thing. And they put Burt on the phone. And they ended up, believe it or not, being friends. And he'd go and visit Burt sometimes, I guess. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but he had that force of personality, and he could just bullshit anybody. Anybody.
I wonder if that's the way to get to Dolly.
It could be, because it's a Southern.
It's to go through her sister and go, hey, Stella, remember me? Yeah. Oh, come on, you know you do. And figure out where she went to high school and say, yeah, I was the class just ahead of yours.
Well,
I look some different now, but it might work. It's worked with me before with people that I did not know but wanted to know, and I go, oh, you won't remember. We met 1,000,000 years ago, and they will inevitably go, oh yeah, no, I remember that. How you doing? How you been?
Well, we have the right accents for it.
Yes, so, ma'am, we do.
I've been thinking about it, because
there's a fella on Twitter that we started following each other fairly recently, and what did he say? Something about, I am too big and I'm too loud and I'm just too much, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just kind of a cultural thing with us. And I said, yes, it is. We are loud, and we can be obnoxious, and we can have bad manners when we should be having good manners, but let's just be who we are. And we've had this whole conversation about that. Yes, rednecks are loud. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't see what your problem is. Loud.
You know what else about rednecks? You're talking about rednecks the way that we grew up hearing the word redneck, not the way that the connotation is today for redneck.
No.
But redneck, the thing about rednecks, have you ever met a real redneck in a bad mood?
Well, I guess you'd have to tell me what you mean by a real redneck.
Like the kind, what we meant when we were growing up. A redneck was a Southern boy.
Yeah, not only have I met a redneck in a bad mood, I have been a redneck in a bad mood.
Well, then you get all redneck about things, you see.
Yes.
But most rednecks they're kind of affable.
Yes. We are affable until we are crossed. And it often takes a lot to cross us unless we've been drinking brown liquor. Now, if people have been drinking wild turkey, do not cross them.
Well, what about corn liquor?
Well, I'm telling you, in my family anyway, it may not be true in other families. In my family, if it was a clear liquor, you're probably going to be okay. Mm. But if you were drinking Jim Beam or wild turkey was the worst. Wild turkey is the worst. Mm. And just get fighting mad. At the drop of a hat.
Oh, yeah. The alcohol brings out your personality. So if you've seen, I kind of classify people when they drink, because I used to have to be around them at work all the time when I was in the music business all the time. And it's like some people are those happy drunks, those happy drunk people. And everything is great and they're laughing and the world is great. And then you get some of them, you do not want to make them mad when they're drinking. They won't say anything much, but you can kind of see by the way they walk and all of that. You just don't want to get them mad. They have a look about them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you drink a half a bottle of Jack and you're ready to punch a hole in the wall. If you get pissed off.
I'll be ready. Well, I'll be dead if I drank like that.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but it'd be a wild ride leading up to it, I'll bet you.
Yeah. I talk a big game, but I don't drink near as much as I used to.
Well,
and plus twice a year I get my kidney and liver tested. You know, and my numbers have always, knock on wood, have been good.
Mm.
But if ever they start to slip, I know what has to go.
Yeah.
But I don't do it so much. You know, it used to be, well, y'all don't need to know how it used to be. You can imagine.
You know what I never figured out?
What?
I'm just being honest as I can be. I don't know why anybody would drink, because to me, when I drink, I don't feel good. I actually physically don't feel good. I feel I get dizzy and
Lord,
you know, and I mean the floor kind of goes up and down and stuff, and I don't really feel like I'm in control, and so I just have never liked it. I tried it once or twice, and it's like, no, thank you. But
no, thank you.
And I just always say, you know, red hair, genetics. I guess that's why it doesn't agree with me or something. And the one time I actually got rip roaring drunk, I was sick for 2 damn days afterwards. Oh my God.
Ooh. I've not been that drunk in a long time.
Oh, well, I didn't realize it. You see, it was somebody made PJ. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh God. No, just don't drink that shit. What's wrong with you?
Well, I was young.
Of course. And I drank it when I was young too.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, because I couldn't taste any alcohol. And as far as I knew, alcohol had a real strong taste, and it just tasted like fruit punch. And there was pineapples and different fruit that they had soaked in it for days, I guess. And I remember I got a pineapple ring and I was eating that. And the next thing you know, I was throwing up in somebody's car.
Oh, no.
And it seems like I did that for days. I don't recall for sure, but you know, it was awful. And I was not in control of myself. I don't know. I could have gotten in a fight or said who knows? Because I don't know. But I know that I probably am not that fun person when I drink, I guess. But you, if you were actually set out to just, I'm going to pitch me a good one tonight, I bet you'd be fun.
I am fun. I'm a lot of fun. I'm a fun drunk. Yep.
Well, see, you're fun when you're not drinking. And when you're not drinking, you don't give a damn about what people think. So what would happen after you were drinking?
That is going to be my birthday present to myself tomorrow. Because as I've gotten older, I've cared less and less.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up tomorrow morning, I am not going to give a damn what anybody else thinks of me.
Good for you.
I'm just not going to give a damn. Good. I'm not going to care. You don't like me? Fine. You like me? That's lovely. Yeah. You love me? I love you back. I mean, but if you hate me, I probably ain't got the energy right now to hate you. I'll just despise you and ghost you.
Yeah. And then I've got a situation like that going on right now with somebody. It's one of those guys who won't take no for an answer and thinks there's something about it. And trying to get a hold of me, and I'm not returning the call because, as I have explained to this person before more than once, I'm super busy. There are plenty of times when I cannot talk. If you want to send me a text message, I promise I'll see it and I'll get back to you when I can. So I've said that multiple times to this person, and this person still thinks that whenever he sends me a vague text message, hey, give me a call. Hey, give me a call. I said, hey, give me a call. Are you mad? Hey, did I do something to make you mad? Hey, give me a call. Hey. Yeah, that it's that for days and days.
Oh my God.
And that's why I say
make me so crazy.
Well, it is a little crazy making, and I've had my friends who know about it have said, why don't you just text him and tell him you're busy? No, because no means no. I've explained that to him before. So as long as he's demanding, as long as he's like expecting me because he wants it, just because somebody wants to contact you doesn't mean that you're obligated to spend your time with them if you don't.
No, you are not. You are not. Absolutely.
Right. And I'm not mad at him. I'm not. I could be. And that's part of the reason that I'm not getting a hold of him in the beginning. It was because I was mad and I didn't want to say something that I might regret later. So I just,
Yeah, what you've done is set a boundary.
That's right.
The boundary is he is not your damn boss.
That's right. And when my friends have told me, why don't you just text him and tell him whatever, get him off your back, it's like, no, because the second I do that, he'll know that I can be worn down.
Yes, exactly.
And that's not happening either. So
no, and that's a product of getting older too. As we get older, it's like, all right, well, I could just, if that'll just shut him up, but it won't shut him up, them up, her up, whoever up.
Yeah, no,
it won't. You just got to go
maybe temporarily. Yeah.
Well, probably not even that.
Probably not.
Because they know they can get around you. They can wheedle around you. Mm-hmm. If I just annoy you enough, you're going to pay attention to me.
Right. You'll give in and I'll get my way. And
exactly.
And to me, it's all just, it feels, after a while, it feels like somebody going, wah, attention.
It does. It's exactly what it feels like, a spoiled young'un wanting attention.
Did I ever tell you? I'm sure I did. There's a mutual friend of ours who came over to the cottage. This has been a number of years ago, pre-COVID. And she and I were doing a bit of work. And I cannot believe the electrical things that were happening. There was thunder and lightning. There was stuff going on in the house. There was battery-operated things going off and on. It was great, actually.
Yeah,
because I knew I was listened to.
Yes,
I knew I was heard.
Yeah, my petition has been heard. Maybe not granted yet, but it's gone through wherever it needs to go through.
Yeah, and that's the feeling on it is, wow. Sometimes the dead listen to you better than the living do.
Almost always.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah, it always feels good when you kind of dust your hands off, like, yeah, that was a job well done.
Yeah, and then you get confirmation.
Yep.
And that feels good. It does.
Yeah.
It's like playing a hard piece on the piano. When you're done, it's like, well, that sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
Or fill in the blank. What thing does it for you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a satisfaction of good work.
It is. I can't wait until it's a little warmer. And I don't know, in my fantasy life, you get a break, and me and you get to go hang out at the cottage at some point this spring. I think it'll happen, though. I do.
Well, I'm going to get a couple of breaks in places that I didn't think I was going to get breaks, and that's good.
That is
I'm going to get a break in April. A thing that I was going to has been canceled. Oh. So I can be home and do some writing, and we can go sit on the porch.
Yeah. Are you going to that? You're going to Florida, I guess, after you get back?
I'm going to Florida not once in April, but twice in April. And then I ain't going back to Florida all this year, because after April, it's going to be too hot.
Yeah.
And too buggy. It's probably going to be too hot and too buggy in April, because I'm such a fragile blossom of Appalachian womanhood.
Oh, please.
It just gets too hot. My face gets all sweaty and glowy. I hate it.
That's supposed to be a flattering look.
Yeah, so they don't.
Yeah.
I swear, I was just outside before we started this.
Yeah.
Watering those new primroses I just put in.
Yeah.
And damn, if it hadn't clabbered up out there, and I bet it's going to rain.
It is starting to look rainish. Rainish.
That's all right. They were thirsting. I could feel it. They were thirsting. And my my little old snap peas have come up, and the bok choy has come up, and the radishes have come up. And they all just needed a drink.
Oh, that's cool.
So I gave them a drink because, little seeds that have just germinated, they are very kind of fragile.
Mm-hmm. They are.
They don't like being dried out.
Do you start that way most of your stuff yourself, or do you go out and get a few seedlings every now and then of stuff?
It depends. I grow most of that stuff, and then I grow greens like lettuces and spinach and kale and all that stuff. I grow all that from seed. Mm-hmm. I don't grow broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage from seed because I could, but I just don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
And I just buy a little cell pack of them, put them in the ground. That seems to work better. Mm-hmm. But almost everything else, well, that and tomatoes and peppers, I get plants for those. But almost everything else I grow from seed.
Yeah. And do you germinate them on top of your refrigerator or
no?
No. How do you germinate?
I put them in the ground.
Oh, you just okay.
I just plant the seed in the ground. Yeah. Now, if I was doing tomatoes, every year many years I have bought mortgage lifter seeds. That was my father's favorite tomato. And I wait till too late to put them in the house.
Yeah. And
then I end up going to Jesse Israel's or wherever and just getting a couple of damn plants. But I do, it's like we know what road is paved with my good intention, and it is not the road to tomato plants.
No, it's not, probably.
I'm sorry to say.
Well, did you know that I believe it's Eden Brothers? Do you know those seeds?
Uh-huh.
Do you know that their facility is in Avery's Creek?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I love to order from seed catalogs. I used to love that so much. It was like a big deal to me.
Me too. I used to get a big stack of them every year, but I don't anymore because now I save so much seed that it feels like a waste to me to have that big colorful catalog delivered, and I'm gonna look at it and then I probably have the seed already, or I'm gonna go to Southern States. You're so true, and just buy it. Yeah.
We had you on a roll when we ran out of time.
What was I rolling on?
You were rolling on plants, and planting and spring.
Oh, yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
This is the time of year when you just start craving to be outside, or I do. I'm not saying.
Well, me too. Mm-hmm. It's just that kind of perfect weather.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's why, I ran out and watered things, and I've got a big old pot that a friend of ours gave us.
Yeah.
That had some, where she had thinned out her peonies. Did you grow up calling those piney roses or piano roses?
Oh, piano. Oh.
Yeah, I grew up calling them, my family called them piano roses.
We call them peonies.
Really? You didn't call them peonies?
Peonies.
Huh.
How they said it. But I don't know what kind of accents they had, really. My granny, do you remember, have you ever heard of a word called, I think it's called chinkapin? She used to drink that. Chinky
pins. It's kind of nut.
Yeah, that's it. Chinky pins.
Yeah, chinky pins.
Is it like a hazelnut or something?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, she would take it and grind it up and put it in her coffee.
Yeah.
Brew it with coffee. And they used to do.
That was left over from Civil War times when people couldn't get coffee. Yeah, when they couldn't get coffee, they would grind up chinky pins and chicory root. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now my other granny drank chicory coffee because for a long time there you could get, maybe you still can, where they'd mix coffee with chicory.
Uh-huh.
And I actually loved the way it tasted.
Me too. I think you can get that farther south, like New Orleans. I think they do chicory and chicory coffee. Yeah, I like the way it tastes too.
It's been a long time since I've tasted it though. And she'd put full fat milk sometimes in it. Oh, the horror. And it tasted good. And we called it sweet milk because it was either buttermilk or it was sweet milk.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Gosh, I wonder if there are any chinkapin. Are they bushes or trees?
Trees. And it's spelled so that it's like chinquapin.
With a P-E-N, maybe? I might have seen that somewhere.
No, I think it's P-I-N. I think it's CHINQUAPIN. Maybe. I don't know.
It is. Oh, hey, you know what that is? It's a dwarf chestnut.
It's a what?
When I look that up with that spelling, it comes back and it says that it is a type of shrub or small tree that is a dwarf chestnut. No.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look at the botanical names for that. They might be in the same family, though.
It says any of several species of trees in various genera of the beech family.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
I'm thinking about the bark. We had a couple of chinkapins when I was growing up, and the bark is similar to that. That makes sense.
Well, okay, yeah, I'd like to maybe find some of those if they still exist at all. And
well, there is a group here in town. The Asheville Fruit and Nut Club.
Oh,
they call themselves the Fruit Nuts. So
the Fruit Nuts,
and they often will post things about where you can get unusual plants. But you ought to check with what am I trying to think? You could check with Jesse Israel, but they're probably not going to have it. But yeah, just do out an all call on social media, local social media, and say, I'm looking for some chinkapin seedlings.
Well, here's the Buncombe Fruit and Nut Club.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't lie to you about the fruit nuts. That's because my husband is one of the fruit nuts.
Wow. And then there's Fruits and Nuts.
You also might check with Greenworks, because sometimes they do plant sales to raise money, and they give do plant giveaways and stuff. You might check with them too. And also, we are talking to our beloved listeners, and some of them may know a good place to get a chinkapin tree.
You know what? You are right. They are very resourceful, is what I'm finding out.
I'm telling you what.
Mm-hmm. You can pretty much ask any question or throw out any concept, and one of them has had some experience with it.
That's right.
I'm impressed.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
makes me proud.
They're our young'uns, our sweet young'uns.
They are. Well, maybe not sweet, but
no. I wanted to immediately take that back after I said it. That was the curse of my childhood. My grandmother would always say, "Be sweet."
Ooh, I've heard that.
I think she said it because I had a reputation from a very early age. Well, I've said they refer to me as being mean as a striped ass snake. I don't remember being mean, but I think I did not like getting a baby brother, and I think I reacted to that pretty strongly. But I think that was my grandmother's way of kind of moderating my behavior. It's like, I know what you're capable of, young lady. You be sweet. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If I have to, I will. Y'all, what am I going to make for supper tonight? I'm sitting here thinking I got to make some supper because I've got a really good red wine I'm going to have tonight. So.
Oh, so you want real food? I was going to say, well, there's always a sandwich you can make for yourself, or.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going all out for the next 5 days.
All out?
Yes, I posted a picture today on the Facebook, the Book of Faces. I came home from the dentist and picking up a birthday cake and all this other stuff I did, and I was hungry, and I thought, I'll just whip through Bojangles and have some. And I went, no, I'm going to go home and I'm going to have 2 poached eggs on an English muffin. And by God, that's what I did. I came home, poached 2 eggs and put them on an English muffin. And it was delicious. So supper tonight has to be comparable to having a delicious poached egg luncheon.
Well,
yes. So I don't know what that needs to be, but I don't think I should cook it. I think my husband needs to do that.
Yes, or have it brought to you. You can do that.
Well,
too. Are you in a protein mood?
I am always in a protein mood, my darling. Always.
It is your birthday.
I ain't got no teeth, so I got to be careful what that protein is.
Oh, that's true. Well,
no, I'm getting pretty good. I found a couple of bite surfaces that meet. I ain't been doing but so bad. I mean, it's not pretty, but I can chew a few things. I can eat a sandwich.
It's functional.
I can't eat an apple.
Oh,
but it's functional. It's absolutely functional. Well, the apples right now aren't terribly good anyway because we're eating last season's apples. So I can do without. Steak would be good. I got myself some strawberries today and some grapes.
Ooh, strawberries. Wow.
But when Kate was little, she called them scrawberries. Strawberry. Can I have some strawberries? Yes, you can have a strawberry.
A strawberry. That's so sweet. I bet she wouldn't appreciate us doing that on the air.
She wouldn't. That poor young'un got COVID again.
Oh, no.
I talked to her yesterday, and she said, well, I have to tell you, because she's coming down for my birthday on Saturday. She said, I have to tell you, I'm just getting over COVID. And I went, how did you get COVID again? Because, she's double vaxxed and double boosted and all this stuff. And she and my son, Outlaw, went to a wedding last weekend. I'm sure that's where I think it was a wedding delivery system.
Yep, it was a gift that keeps on giving, wasn't it?
Golly. And she was just saying, so I'm not contagious. It was not this past weekend, but the weekend before. She said, I'm not contagious anymore, but, if you don't want me to be there. I said, hell no, I'll put everybody else in a mask. If you don't feel comfortable, get on down here.
That's right.
I'll make them all stay 6 feet apart. I don't know how that's going to happen in my house, but it might. Because here's the other crazy thing, and y'all won't know this, because this will all have happened by the time y'all hear this. But I had committed, probably a year ago, to do this online thing called WitchCon and to teach class. Well, that class is Saturday night. So I'm going to throw everybody out of the living room, and I'm going to send them in the dining room and the kitchen for an hour. I'll say, you just go out there, or you can sit in here and watch my Zoom class.
My goodness.
Whichever. So I'm going to have to take a break in the middle of my own damn party and do this class.
Well,
I just get myself into that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, now you remembered it was your birthday when you booked it, right?
Yes, I did. And when I looked at it, I remembered. Well, I booked it, but they didn't give me when I was going to do it. But because I'm a little bit of a star, they wanted me on Saturday so I could get the biggest boost for ratings for them.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's okay. My deal is I'm going to live as big and as loud as we were talking about earlier. I'm going to live as big and loud as I can, because there's going to come a point where I'm too old and tired to do any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look back and go, oh, golly, I wish I had pushed a little bit harder to do whatever. And I'm going to wear it out.
Yeah, well, that's what you should do. That's exactly what you should do.
Hell yes.
Well, my Saturday night will be a little bit different, but it's still going to be good.
Yeah, tell them about it. I'm excited.
Well, I'm
excited for you.
I am too. It's my first time playing out since pre-COVID. And the whole band is not going to be there, I'm sorry to say. Dan, the Mandolin Man, will be at a wedding.
Dan, the Mandolin Man.
Yes.
You do a little dance with that song?
Well, I know he could if he wanted to, but that's how I remember him, Dan, the Mandolin Man. We had a fella at my work at the hotel, and I called him Dan, the Maintenance Man. I have no idea.
I love the mandolin. I do.
I do too.
Oh, it just sweeps me away.
Yeah, there's something about it. And mandolin players are always so sharp. They're always just, big intuition when they play. And of course, all of them have big intuition. But anyway, we're going to be playing the Marathon Jam in Bristol. And rumor has it that a very special person is going to sit in with us. So that makes it even more exciting. Selby and me and Thomas are the trio. And then we've got our special guest coming. And I'm excited. We've got a 5 o'clock set. And we've played it before. And I really, really like playing in Bristol. I like the folks in Tennessee so much.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love East Tennessee.
Yeah, I do too. Time has no meaning for me anymore.
That's right. That's the way I'm going to be this whole year. I'm going to be like, what? Now? Did you want that now? Oh.
What now?
You know what? I work really extra hard. I have my whole life to be the conscientious person.
Yes. And
to be at a place on time and to be prepared and to, wear my good jeans or whatever. But there's an awful lot of people in the world that just don't give a hoot about that. They don't. True. They show up late. They ain't ready. They're wearing some ripped up clothes. They ain't brushed their teeth in a week.
Oh.
And I don't know why it is I'm so concerned about being the good girl when it is just patently obvious I am not.
Yeah. Maybe that's why.
Maybe is it like a con game that I'm pulling the wool over everybody's eyes? See, look at her. She's so organized.
Maybe you're still trying to prove it to yourself.
No, I'm still trying to prove it to my mother.
Oh.
No, I know exactly where it comes from. But it's my mother. I never could do what would have made her proud. Just couldn't. It's hard. It's too hard.
That's Alanis Morissette sang a song basically about that. And I don't know, maybe it's called Harder. It's from her 1995 album.
Yeah, it is called something like that.
Alanis, you know which one I'm talking about. Be a good girl.
I do.
Try a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
We will love you if you're perfect.
Yeah. Which reminds me, Joni Mitchell is getting the Gershwin Songwriting Award tonight that the Library of Congress gives out. Good old Joni.
She deserves it.
Hell yes, she does. You look at all the people that have won that award, and they're almost all men, except Carole King won it, and Gloria Estefan won it with somebody else, with a man. I can't remember who. But all the rest of them have been men. I mean, and they're good men. It's, it's Paul Simon and Stevie Wonder, lots of folks like that. They're good, but I'm so kind of sensitive about that these days when I look at, a list of the best of or famous or whatever, and I go, how many women are on that list?
Right.
And sometimes there's no women at all.
It's a matter of observation, because you don't have to be an angry feminist to be able to observe things like that.
No, but I am.
Right.
Because, I don't have to be, but I am.
Right. Well, you are. But I'm just saying, for the average person who might not have thought about it that way, it's true. It's really, really true. So, God, you just got me. You know what happens when I get quiet when I'm talking to you? The reason that I can't be coherent is because you'll say something and then I'll go down this string of thoughts about what you just said. And by the time I've figured out how I want to answer you, you've gone on to this other thing. And as soon as I realize it, my mind goes into a vortex of, this thing, and that's the way I do. I have to catch up.
And your brain, and I've said it before, you're like an old fashioned ping pong. I mean, pinball game. and the ball goes bing, 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 and I'm like an old fashioned bull in a china shop. I just, forge forward, destroying everything in my path that's breakable.
I think it's good to be able to concentrate, and that's what you can do better than me. And I don't mean to whine, but honestly,
well, you ain't whining. We just have different skills. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could concentrate a little more like you, because you get so much
but your brain moves fast, and mine does not move that fast. The way I have to do things is when people go, "Oh my gosh, what does that mean?" I'll go, "Let me get back to you," and then my brain has to kind of sift through all the stuff and the possibilities and all that before I blurt something out. But your brain is like zoom, 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 zoom.
And then blurt.
Well, we both blurt. We're the Blurt sisters.
Yeah. I love that meme you put up the other day about blurting out songs and stuff. I love that.
God. I feel like I do that to you all the time on the show.
That's one of the things I like.
Let me sing that. Golly.
Well, that's one of the things I like.
A mutual friend of ours used to call it the Byron jukebox. she could mention something, and I would just open my mouth, and you never knew if it was going to be like jazz or opera or bluegrass or the Allman Brothers or. Boy, somebody today mentioned Leonard Skinner to me, and I just went all rosy. It's like, oh, Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
It just calls to my little redneck heart.
Well, Skinner kind of unofficially adopted Asheville, and we definitely unofficially adopted Skinner back in the day.
That's right.
They found out, I think I've told you this before, but I learned it from a marketing class, that they were doing studies. They were checking demographics in the area, and Asheville, North Carolina showed up to be the biggest population of Skinner fans concentrated anywhere. And
that does not surprise me.
Yep.
How many times have they played here?
Well, and that's the thing. They just played here and played here and played here and played here some more. And we were spoiled. I was spoiled.
I mean, I've seen them twice here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they were here way more than that.
I can't remember how many times I've seen them.
I've only seen them twice, but golly.
I remember my mom waking me up to get ready for school, and she told me, that band that you like, they got an airplane crash, and I guess they got killed. And I was like, what? What do you mean, Mom? Oh. And I thought she was talking about Aerosmith.
Oh,
and then
band you like.
Yep. And then she kind of clarified it, and I was like, what?
How did that happen? Yeah.
Yep. Very strange. And I watched the documentary about it shortly after that, when it first came out. And I will never, ever forget Skinner concerts and seeing people just from behind them, with their hands up in the air, and everybody just doing the same thing to the music at the same time.
And just being happy. Just being happy and being big. Being, like we said before, being big and loud and happy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, Skinner songs are, or at least that one song that's often debated between Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin or Freebird by Skinner, to be the number one best rock and roll song of all time. That was a debate for many years. But I've seen a lot of people cover certain Skinner songs, but I've never seen anybody cover Freebird. Have you?
Oh no, I think every garage band can play Freebird. It's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke about Freebird. Play Freebird. Play Freebird.
I said that is a joke. You're right.
Yeah. I always, when Freebird starts out, it's not on the radio very much, and it'll start out, and I go, "Oh man, I love this song," and then it gets to, "And I can burn, I want a hot truck." And I go, oh, God, it's Freebird. What the hell? But yeah, I mean, we all wanted to be free. We all still want to be free.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a 9-minute song, 9 minutes and 3 seconds. And
You
the DJs loved it.
Plenty of time to get up and go to the bathroom, get some coffee.
Go outside and smoke a cigarette or something.
Exactly. You could do all of it while Freebird was going on.
Freebird. Play me some Skinnerd. That was
Play some Skinnerd. What? You've never seen anybody cover Freebird?
Never, not once. But you know who I think would have been Freddie Mercury.
It would have been interesting to hear him do that. I'm gonna have to look up. I'm making a list of things I'm gonna look up when we get off here. I bet there is a bluegrass version of Freebird.
Ooh,
because it's really, I mean, it's written like a bluegrass song or like a country song.
If there's not,
there has to be. There has to be. I mean, people might argue that Skinnerd was doing a country version, but they weren't. I mean, like full-fledged banjo, fiddle, all that stuff. I bet you there's one of Freebird.
I wonder if Keller and Keel, do you know those guys?
Yeah.
If they might have covered it. Let me check and see. Keller and Keel. Nope.
Huh.
Nope.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I told y'all about that song that I heard, because when I'm traveling up through West Virginia, the only thing you can listen to is country music or preaching. And I mostly don't listen to preaching. I'm sorry to say. I listen to country music, and there's a song about, and if I'm heading out of here, I'm getting out, I'm getting on the road, and if I don't come back, don't come looking. And I always love that when I'm heading north on 77, going through West Virginia up to Ohio. And I just think, yeah, hell yeah, one day that's going to be me. It's like, yeah, I've packed some bags. I watered the plants. I've cleared out all my banking accounts, and I'm on the road. And if I don't come back, don't come looking.
I would have loved to have known you when you were a teenager. I would have liked to have been a teenager around you.
Oh, gosh. Well, I was thinking about that. My friend Randy, and I know I've told you the story. My friend Randy and I think for our 16th birthday, because you know that used to be such a big deal to be 16.
Oh, yeah. Sweet 16.
Yeah, our friends decided they were going to throw us a party because his birthday is like the 27th or 28th, and mine is the 2nd. And they had built this layer cake out of cardboard boxes and iced it really thick so it looked just like a cake. And he and I were doing that, the wedding cutting the cake thing. And we realized it was cardboard. And by God, he and I stood there together with our hands locked around this knife. And we cut a slice out of that damn box.
Oh.
It's like, you ain't messing with us. We're 16. We're bulletproof. I'm going to cut you. And then you're going to eat this damn cake.
You're going to eat it. That's right.
Here, I'm going to get you a big old piece.
Yeah.
Oh, those were good days. Good days.
They sound like it.
They were terrible. I mean, high school was terrible, but there were times that were just precious and beautiful, and that's one of them. And listening to Dark Side of the Moon with Hal Allen was another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Good times. Crazy times.
I remember those years, and I remember going to go see The Wall in the movie theater.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And what was that other one? Oh, Heavy Metal.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy Metal. Yeah,
I remember being in family record and tape in the mall with my precious daughter. So, it was a long, long time ago. And I walked up and to the counter because I don't know, I guess I hadn't been in there much or something. And I said, where's the metal section? And the sweet young thing behind the counter turned to my daughter and said, it is. And my daughter just looked at her and said, I don't listen to metal. I don't know who you think I am, but that's Mama's music. They were like, oh, okay, got it. I love it. I mean, there's not a lot of music I don't love. I mean, just get on down love.
It just depends on my mood.
Me too. 100%.
Yeah. I definitely go through phases. I remember, what was the name of that record store that was in Asheville? And it's, do you know where Spiritex is now?
Was it Sonic?
No, it was owned by two guys, and it was near Pritchard Park there.
Yeah. Oh no. And then it moved over to Biltmore Avenue. Karmasonics.
Karmasonics. Thank you.
Karmasonics.
I loved Karmasonics so
Me
much.
too. And I love those two guys so much. They would find me the weirdest stuff.
And they knew. Those guys knew. I'm going to have to look that place up. I miss it. I really miss it.
Me too. But have you been over to Harvest Records over in West Asheville? Yeah.
I have, and I like that very much too.
Yeah. And then it's not the same. It's not the same vibe of the excitement of that new album coming out. Oh my God. But it's they're audiophiles and it's just good. It's really good. It's like going to Orbit DVD. I love to go in there because that guy knows everything. He knows every movie that was ever made. And I can go in and say, here are the kind of movies that I would like. Here's the kind of movie I like. But I want to see something new in that genre. And I can name off, a handful of movies, and he'll go, oh, well, let me tell you, this is what you need to get. Yeah.
And he'll be right every time.
I like it when people know their business.
I do too. There was a comic book guy, and of course he's not alive anymore, but his name was Howard. And Howard had a prolific memory. You could walk in the door and ask him some geek question about, was Superman, did he say this or that? And what did this mean? And he would know. And then he would send you to the comic book that told you about it. He had a great memory. Yeah. Well, I know comic books probably don't do it for you. And truthfully, they don't do it for me. Although I used to love Mad Magazine.
No, I'm being all bitter about nowadays, because I'm so bitter about nowadays. But I used to love going into places like the little manky kind of antique stores where people really knew what that stuff was.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And they go, like, this piece right here is occupied Japan. And let me tell you what that means. And let me tell you, this person that's selling it doesn't know what it's worth because it's worth about 8 times what they got on it. So this would be a good investment for you.
Yeah. Only the thing is, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Well, of course, that's true for any kind of thing, isn't it? It's really true.
Yeah, it is. I'm working on an estate right now, selling through this estate, and it's like beautiful stuff. It's too bad it just doesn't sell for very much anymore. It's like the little tchotchkes. They don't really sell for that much anymore. And people, when they get married, they don't want china and they don't want flatware like they used to. Those were expected things to ask for. If someone,
I'm just going to say this right now: they are fools.
They are.
Because, yes, okay, you get married, maybe you're 25 years old, and you think, well, what am I ever going to want with 8-piece servings of china? Well, you can buy that whole thing for about $50. And the next time you want to impress somebody, you whip that out and put it on your table.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, well, this is, they turn it over and look on the back. And yes, I think the problem really is that people are so mobile. They'll live one place for 2 years and then they'll sell up and move to another place. And that stuff is pretty fragile. I don't know, it hurts me, and it also surprises me, people who are like taking care of their mother's estate or their grandmother's estate, and they've got these incredible sets of service for 12 bone china from France, and they cannot even give it away.
Right. Because it might have gold paint on it, which doesn't work in a microwave or a dishwasher. You see, that's got a lot to do with it, I think.
If here's the thing, if people are too lazy to wash a dish by hand and to heat something up on the top of the stove, then I got nothing to say to them. They should not have fine china. They do not deserve fine china. They should just microwave it on top of a piece of paper towel. and then eat like the monster they are.
Don't mince words. What do you really think?
How I'd like to really talk about this is to say, I just don't get, and I understand where that is coming from for me, because I was so damn poor. Yeah. And I had to learn all that stuff. I had to learn the forks and the spoons and what is this funny shaped knife here for? And why would I want to eat dessert with this giant spoon? All that stuff I learned by hard graft, because it didn't come natural to me. Right. But by God, right now, if the King of England wanted to come and have supper here, I could set a decent table for him.
That's got to be a pretty proud thing too, actually.
Absolutely. And he and I would talk about environmental stuff. Well, and Camilla and I would talk about, I don't know what she's into. I don't know nothing about her. Horses, funny. They're all into horses, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. That could be a little bit of a joke too, but I believe
it might be. It might very well be.
Well, for me,
we've been all over the place today, haven't we?
Yeah, welcome to my brain. That's the way it just kind of. No. Yeah, well, that's relaxing to me to just relax and go, just kind of wander where my brain wants to go. It feels like a vacation. What's work for me is concentrating. So, like when I write code, computer code, I have to concentrate, and I do. But that's what I truly will lose track of time. And I've learned that I cannot sit the same way that I used to for too long, because I'll actually get cramps in my back or shoulders or whatever now. But I still can't.
We're all getting to that place.
Hey, thank you for spending your time with us here at Wyrd Mountain Gals. We sure do appreciate it. I know time is the most important thing we have. So I promise that if you take your time to listen to us, we'll take our time to continue to be weird. Many thanks to Sunslice Records for all the help. We couldn't do it without you, Craig. Check out our social media for information, community, or a few laughs. WYRD Mountain Gals.